What?
He had a ton of 1 and 2 yard rushes.
So you jumped my point. That's why you threw me off. I had a whole spiel set up. I completely got thrown off. I had no idea what you were saying. But for the rest, he went 17 for 38, as you said, just over a touch over 2 yards per carry, which is, to me, this offensive line, which they said that they fixed, is far from fixed.
I think they fixed a lot of it. I think Solder was a huge upgrade.
I mean, last year they wouldn't even have had 100 yards. But
no, you're
I have to admit, it really doesn't have that feel until that 68-yard touchdown run happened that you were like, oh, why'd we get Saquon Barkley? Like, because he wasn't really there and he wasn't a factor until that touchdown run.
Can I read you something really quick?
Go ahead.
So I have for you, and I did this on yesterday, so Monday. So I have the Giants' offensive line grades from Sunday, and I would like to read them to you if you will indulge me. So at left tackle, we have Nate Solder, who had a grade of 67.1. Now, is that great? No. Is it good? Yes. Does it do the job? Yes. He only got beat once or twice, to my knowledge, that I saw. Will Hernandez, left guard, 63.1. First NFL game. Super Bowl caliber defense of Jacksonville. I'm impressed. I already like Will Hernandez.
Like I said, I was definitely impressed. 20-15. You hold the Jaguars, who were in the AFC Championship game, to 20 points. You can be excited about the season.
It can't go unnoticed. And John Jalapeno, first time he made a 53-man roster. He's the starting center. He has a grade of 65.7. Good, better than I thought. Didn't really hear much about him until they traded away Brett Jones to Minnesota. He did the job. Patrick Omameh, right guard.
I love who you're saving for last.
Do you hear? Well, I'm kind of going. I'm kind of going down the line here. But notice the key word in what I just said. Right side. He had a grade of 48.3. Now, the reason why I think it's so low is because
the person to his right.
Look at who's right next to him.
Was he a negative 10?
Eric Flowers, who had a whopping grade of, it's actually better than I thought, 0.
No way.
He had a grade of 0. That's why Omameh's grade is so low, because he had to do the job of 2 guys.
Yeah.
Look, am I going to give Flowers...
I can't believe he's still on the team,
Am honestly. I going to get... Look, you know where he would fit in? MetLife Stadium. You go right inside, what do you go through? A turnstile. He'd fit right in. He just lets everybody go through. But here's the thing I'm trying to say. Am I going to give Flowers the benefit of the doubt?
No.
I was thinking about it only because he switched over to right tackle, a position that he played in college at Miami. You're going up against a great defense like Jacksonville. And I was ready to say, all right, week 1. He looked awful. Let's look for a bounce back. Found out a stat after that game. He got beat by a backup twice.
Yeah.
Which led to the
pick six. They knew that they could get their top-level pass rusher off of that side and give him a breather and put in their backup and still have the same result. That is amazing that he had a grade of 0, though. I thought it was going to be a negative number.
Can it even be a negative number? Because
for him, it might be. Like, he might just rewrite the rules for everything.
When you're that bad.
The Giants could have won this game if Flowers was in the stands.
Yeah,
I'm convinced. I'm convinced.
I feel like that's true because he missed that block that led to the interception at the end of the game.
He looked like he didn't know what was happening.
Nope. Eli Manning's one of those quarterbacks that if you look at, you can say he can lead you to a win with 2 minutes in the fourth quarter.
But you know what?
He's never had that protection, so he keeps on throwing interceptions at the time.
He never really had a stable running game other than Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw. And if you want to think about it, Tiki Barber
that's
for a little bit.
That's what I look to. I think of Tiki Barber a lot. Even Brandon Jacobs and Bradshaw, I don't think.
I can't stand Barber. That's a different story. Maybe if he reintroduces himself to the Giants faithful, maybe we'll change. But the thing is, Manning never really had that protection that a lot of these other quarterbacks have. I've been of the mindset if you give Eli Manning just a little bit of time, doesn't have to be a great offensive line, it can be serviceable. If you give him just a little bit of time, you will not be disappointed. Manning was not the reason the Giants lost.
No, he would still be a playoff contender if he had a decent offensive line.
Manning is not the reason the Giants lost.
No.
Barkley is not the reason the Giants lost. Evan Ingram and Sterling Shepard is not the reason why the Giants lost. It all falls on Eric Flowers. The coaching was good. The defensive coaching was good. The offensive coaching
was a lot better than I thought.
Much
even
better.
The offensive coordinator, Mike Shula, who actually did a great job. I've heard some people say, oh, it's just McAdoo's offense all over again. Really?
No.
I don't remember him taking shots downfield in McAdoo's offense. He did on Sunday. Yeah. The offense is not the problem. It's the line on the right side. That's the issue. That is the main issue.
It's not even you can't even say it's the guy. What was his name? The one next to Flowers?
Omameh.
Okay. It wasn't even really his fault. Like you said, he was really doing the job of 2 people.
He was. It was ridiculous.
You're listening to WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Kyle MacKay with Eric Fischetti, Sam Eisenberg, and Matt Charkowick, and we are now recapping the weekend that was for football in Week 1. Last 10 minutes, we really want to get into the fact that the Jets had a great first game. But first of all, I want to point out two things real quick. Greg Olsen is probably out for a while for the Panthers with a foot injury.
That's a huge loss.
Yeah, that's one of Cam Newton's favorite targets to go to, and he is now out for a while. He left that game early.
Now he's got to use his legs a lot more.
Yeah, I mean,
which
you can have him do that, but it seems like he always gets a shoulder injury, which then affects his throwing game and then really just starts to snowball into a bunch of different problems. The other thing I wanted to say was all 7 of the new head coaches, including Gruden, who counts as a new head coach with his new team back with Oakland, all lost in their first game this week, 0-7 by new head coaches. So really getting off to a great start, showing your owners that you really want to win a Super Bowl with them.
I mean, it's just a game. It's just one game.
No, I understand it's one game, but it is funny that none of them could put their team in like a 1-0 spot.
And most of them, if not all of them, were very winnable.
Yeah. All of them were, except for the Lions should have won. Actually, if you think about it, like the Raiders, probably if they played a tougher game, as like you said, they probably could have.
Yeah. Let's just go with most of them.
Yeah, most of them,
except the Lions and the Raiders.
Yeah, but
if
the other
Carr
ones really played
didn't throw up that last pass on what was it like 2 minutes left in the game in the fourth quarter.
How about if they just didn't go up against the Rams?
That too.
Yeah, no, if they played a different team in the
but
first
that
one,
last drive, it looked like they were going to come back.
Well,
they really did.
And pretty much now we're going to get into probably what everybody is so excited about in this city right now. Not even Saquon. The Giants Nation's fascinated with Saquon Barkley for the right reasons. But now the Jets Nation is probably tickled pink this week because they won.
Why didn't you use that saying? You should have said tickled green. You missed it.
Yeah,
you missed it.
Now I can't even use that till like week 17 when people forget. They had an outstanding game, and it wasn't just Sam Darnold who made history for one of the wrong reasons by throwing a pick on his first pass attempt for a pick 6. But another person who did that was Brett Favre, and we know where he went, so that would be a good thing to really look forward to. If you think about it, it might be a small footnote in his career that Sam Darnold threw a pick 6 on his first ever throw and then turned around and had a great game. He went with a pretty nice game, 20 of 30. That is the wrong stat sheet.
Would you like me to get it for you?
No, I have it right here. He went 16 of 21 with 198 yards with 2 touchdowns and the 1 interception. He played well. The running game worked. The offensive line held up, which didn't work for the Giants, but for the Jets, everybody said this offensive line is bad because they're banged up, but they look serviceable. And as you said, a serviceable line could get teams a win. But then the biggest thing was the defense. They took a step forward. Everybody said they don't have a pass rush, and they didn't even have, I think they had like 1 sack the whole game or 0 sacks, but they pressured.
Broke Stafford in half.
They did not get home though, but they ended up pressuring him on every play, it seemed like, and that's what caused 5 interceptions in the game. And that was amazing. They had 5 interceptions on defense, 1 for a pick 6. Then they had a punt return for a touchdown and a punt return for 48 yards, which led to an offensive touchdown. So you had points coming from every facet of your game, and when that happens with 2 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, a punt return, and a pick 6 on defense, there's no way that you should lose, and the Jets showed that they are a very good team. But in another way, I have to admit, I don't believe that they are fully going to be a great team. I still think they're going to be 8-8, 9-7, maybe at the end of the year.
There's a ton of football left.
There's a ton of football, I have to admit. But I want to point out, they have to play the Jaguars in Denver on week 4 and 5 back-to-back. Then week 7 they play in Minnesota. And weeks 12 through 17 they play Green Bay, the Bears, and the Patriots twice.
It's a tough schedule.
That is a tough schedule to finish the season. So I really do think, now yes, I think that Darnold's going to get his bumps. He's going to play well in some games. He's going to have bad games. But you're going to have to get through it with him. And honestly, this is going to be a great era, I think, in Jets football. I do think that they see the light at the end of the tunnel because they have so much money in cap space, so many chances in the draft now to really rebuild this team and fully come back and be a playoff contender, I feel.
Well, just go back to what Jamal Adams said. It's a new era of Jet football, and he's absolutely right. It showed. The defense was amazing last night. Keep in mind, Marcus May wasn't playing yesterday. They lost 2 people, 2 corners. Well, Yeah, two corners, Tremaine Johnson and Buster Screen for a little bit. They got banged up, and they did not slow down.
No, they kept the foot on the gas on that game last night.
Dominant is the word. Dominant is
fierce is more scary. But no, they definitely. I had to admit, I wasn't big on the Jets going into that game. I really thought the Lions had something to prove, and I thought with Patricia coaching, I thought that they were going to be a much better team defensively, and that Stafford was just a given. I didn't have to worry about Matthew Stafford, but apparently the Lions had a problem with offense. They still can't run the ball. LeGarrette Blount left the game early with an injury, and they just didn't look like they were fully into it in that second half.
And how about after the game when the Jets said, or like some of the players said, they knew what plays that Stafford was going to run, and how they knew, like, oh yeah, like that's why they got 5 interceptions. I mean,
I think they were very predictable.
What I think that Detroit did was they incorporated a little bit of New England's offense because of what Patricia came from.
Yeah, I don't think that's some slivers of it.
I don't think that's impossible, but how about just say we were pretty damn good? Just say that. Don't even just embarrass them more. Like, you did that enough. You embarrassed them enough.
But does that really show that Todd Bowles is ready to win right now? Like, he
if you're a Jet fan, you're ready to win right now.
If you're a Jet fan, you are waiting too long to win, and I understand that. But like I said, you also can't say a lot of Jet fans in my mind. All of a sudden, I was watching that game, and me and my cousin were talking, and I said, "Watch this!" Right after the game, all the Jets fans are going to come out of the woodwork and say that this is a Super Bowl contending team.
They have a reason to be excited.
They have a reason. No. Be excited. Be astronomically excited about the Jets and what the future holds for you. It is bright, especially with Sam Darnold and what he showed. But you have to pump the brakes a little bit on being a Super Bowl team this season. And the schedule I just told you about for the last few weeks, that's like a gauntlet of just great teams that you're going to be playing that are going to be pushing for playoff spots, I believe, in their division and being the top teams. I don't see the Jets being more than 8-8 and 9-7, but that is something to look forward to.
It's a step in the right direction.
Oh, of course, definitely.
Without question.
And it'll keep Todd Bowles as the head coach.
Yeah.
And it'll really give the Jets nation something to be excited about for the next year. I really just feel like I said, they're going to try and be too fast forward. They're going to try and say, no, this is the season.
Look, this is a pitch to hope if you're a Jet fan. You know, you're totally excited. I saw Jets Twitter last night. They literally stayed up, obviously, until they switched over to the Raider game, which was kind of stupid. Just let them finish the Jet game. Who cares if you see Gruden a couple of times?
Yeah, I didn't like that either. They switched to the ESPN2 last night.
But the Jets fans are like, this can't be real right now. This cannot be real. And you know what? It's real. There's a reason for you to be excited. Super Bowl? Not yet, but you're well on your way. You're close. I think the Jets are closer than what people think. I might have made... actually, I feel like I'm in the minority on that one, actually. But you know what? I'm sticking by it. I think the Jets are closer than we all think right now.
I do, too. I want them to prove me wrong. Like I said, I hate seeing Mets fans, Knicks fans, and Jet fans always being so negative. I'd like them to be positive. I want the Jets fans to be positive and to be upbeat, but just don't start crying when you end up 8-8 or 9-7 and just miss a playoff spot in this season, because this wasn't your year. You were supposed to be building still towards the future.
We so after one week. Thing.
No, I understand. No, I'm saying though, but a lot of people are going to come out and say, "No, this was a lost season because we went 8-8." No, this is definitely a great game for them and a great future setting up for Sam Darnold and the Jets. So this was WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. For Kyle MacKay, Eric Fischetti, Sam Eisenberg, and Matt Charkowick.
You were perfect the whole show,
I put my papers away. Charkowick.
Oh my
goodness. Thanks everybody for listening. Have an awesome week, and we will see you next week.